To be so sure about so sure. Staring down the stairs we sat at Beardy Weary, the desperate snake who spat dry poison from his irrelevant grin. Both sat, one from the front and one from the back, and watched the sexy women so sure. I had not thought them so unsure, so assured to walk in beauty, all soft, so calm yet eloquent, demure indeed, but hardly pure. From behind we sat, and to have our paper curtain, so real and certain, with which to see and hear and feel all the days and goodness spoken, the tea and cakes, the ices, the aged Polish crisis, the stink of mouldy orange peel. Oh, come on, give us all a feel. The loaded stain, a horny inkwell within which to strain, and learn the fingers of the summer's game, and with at last the inner sense of May, to say, in fact, what we want to say. And in a sense, I suppose, we had at least our prose, and watched the sexy men, so innocent, so calm and fair, minds at peace with all below, with everybody's afterglow. And damn it, I shall interpose with charm and flair, because I love your body and your spirit and your clothes, and with their sexy hair. Yeah, yeah, but I don't care. Some of them wear glasses.
It's just my cat, Gottfried. Yeah, he's got a problem with perception. Anyway, hello, I'm Stuart. This is my house. It's my ceiling and my wall. It's my table and my chair and my music thing and my bed where I sleep and all that. This is where I usually just sit and sort of think, you know. I haven't thought of anything to put on the table yet. I thought about getting one of those, tins for big chickens, you know, when they get anxious. You know, if you've got a chicken that's too big and he's worried about it, why am I so big? You can put him in the tin and it calms down. My friend Tony, right, he once shat into a plastic bag and left it outside a church. And when he told my friend Warren about it, hey, they do though, don't they though? Warren's from Liverpool. The fucking Beatles and all sanctimonious. When he told my friend Warren about it, Warren just was just like, well, what kind of church was it? And Tony said, I don't know, it was St. Clement's on Ballamore Road. I think it's Anglican. And Warren was like, oh, that's alright then. I mean, brothers, sisters, when are we going to come together? When is this situation going to end? Oh, just a minute, hang on. Two nuns in a bath. One of them says, "Where's the soap?" This is also where I work. It's a butcher's. I've only just started though. I got into trouble the other day, right? Because this woman came in and she said, "Can I have a bit of that breast, please?" And I said, "Haven't you got enough of that already, love?" She had really big breasts though. Got into trouble because of that. And she thought it was funny and all. She likes funny jokes. I was aware of becoming involved in the laughter and being part of it until her teeth were only accidental stars. I was drawn in by short gasps, inhaled at each momentary recovery, and then lost finally in the dark caverns of her throat, bruised by the ripple of unseen muscles. And I decided that if the shaking of her breast could be stopped, right, some of the fragments of the afternoon might be collected, and I concentrated my attention with careful subtlety to this end. And Lisa thought it was funny and all. Lisa's my girlfriend. She really likes funny jokes. Oh.
Herr Dee? Guten Morgen. Haben Sie die Hühnerdose schon fertig?
Hello, Mr. Window. How are you today?
Was soll denn diese Matratze hier?
Yes. I think so.
Was soll das denn hier?
Yeah.
Der ganze Schreibtisch, das ganze Zeug hier.
I think we
Herr
might
Dee?
go now.
Können Sie mir das wieder erklären?
Yeah, I think you're very right about that. But I have to see this thing. If anybody like ice cream, we can go and get ice cream. Let's
Herr
go
Dee,
and get an ice cream.
Sie sind mir sofort eine Antwort schuldig.
Okay, thank you very much, Dad.
Herr Dee! Bleiben Sie sofort hier! Herr Dee! Kommen Sie sofort zurück! Herr Dee! Das ist sowas. Was machen Sie denn hier? Hören Sie sofort auf mit dem Mist! Sofort ausmachen! Aus!
I met Lisa because of her fixation on Adidas clothes. Only, on the day that I met her, it wasn't really a fixation. It was more of a singular concurrence. Come in here. They're not using this room anymore. Come on, come here. Okay, what happened was, me and Charlie, we were coming home from the baths, and we were walking through the park, right? And in the park there was this frozen pond, and Lisa, she was lying like she was on the other side of the pond, right? And we were looking at the sticks, and some of the sticks in the pond were frozen under the ice, and some of them were like frozen just lying on top of the ice, and some of them were stuck halfway. And you could judge the thickness of the ice by the flat, white, round air bubbles that were underneath. So, me and Charlie, we were trying to break the ice. First we got some sticks and we chucked them. And then we got some stones and we chucked them. And then Charlie, he gets out a massive branch and he just starts smashing the ice with it. He looked ridiculous. Yeah, so I went over to see Lisa and I said to her, "Oh, what are you doing?" And she was like, "Oh, I'm wearing Adidas trainers, an Adidas top, Adidas bottoms and an Adidas hat." And I said, "Blimey, you're like Mrs. Adidas, aren't you?" And she was like, "Yeah, I know, I don't even like Adidas, I like Nike more." And so I said, "Are you wearing Adidas socks as well?" And she just said, "No." Meanwhile, Charlie, he was on the other side of the ice, and he was still smashing it with his massive branch. You had to really watch him, you know, because he nearly fell in. He's a right Charlie sometimes, our Charlie. Lisa likes it when I memorise things for her. Oh, I've got this book. Wait a minute. Come here. Look, I've got this book here, right? You use it to memorise things, like a series of random numbers or letters. What you have to do, right? I know all the random numbers and letters in our road. For example, my mum's car registration is FBA 798B, right? And it's really easy. Anyone can be a memory genius. All you have to do is you get every letter of the alphabet and every number from 0 to 10, right? And then you put them all together, and you make like a story, to make images of a story which to connect them all up. So, for example, for my mum's car registration, FBA 798B, remember? Chris Eubank, he's my F. All my letters are famous people. Chris Eubank, he goes over to Desmond Tutu's house, he's my B. And David Seaman is staying over at Desmond Tutu's house. David Seaman is my A, right? And Chris Eubank gives him an ice cream, that's me 7, and they give him a hamburger and a tomato, that's me 9 and me 8. Then they all get in a car and they drive over to Southport, that's me V. I ran out of famous people with my letters, but it doesn't really matter, you know. Lisa likes it when I memorise things for her. She is my soul and she walks with me, form of forms. Do you want a sandwich? Does anyone want a sandwich? I'll go and make you some. Hang on, just a minute. Godfrey? Godfrey? Make us some more sandwiches, will you? Just use that cheese and the ham.
Was war das jetzt? Keine Ahnung. Kriegen jetzt Essen, glaube ich. Also ich habe das auch gar nicht verstanden. Was der erzählt hat. Er hat so einen Erinnerungscheck. Ja. Und jetzt?
Sorry about this. I've got to set up my bed, alright?
Okay. Well.
Danke.
Kamera läuft.
Ton?
Ton läuft auch.
2, 3, die zweite.
Hey. Baut er jetzt was, oder? Ich dachte, er will Sandwiches machen.
Ja, er hat gesagt, er will Sandwiches machen.
Sandwiches. Engländer. Ich hoffe, er macht die Katze drauf.
Welche Katze?
Ja, die Katze.
Was für eine Katze?
Ja, hast du nicht die Katze gehört? Da war doch die ganze Zeit die Katze.
Ich bin allergisch auf Katzen, ey. Was denn für eine Katze, hallo?
Is this important? Do you need this? In my way. Is this alright?
Yeah, that's okay.
I just put it here, yeah?
Ja.
Oh,
Just
das ist ein
there.
Chaos. Ah, okay. Passiert jetzt was?
Sag mal, was ist denn das jetzt mit der Katze hier? Hallo, ich bin voll allergisch.
Setzt euch mal.
Wir können doch keine Katze reintun.
Wenn jetzt nichts passiert, dann
Setzt
ist
mal
schon
hier.
okay.
Guck das mal
Ich
an.
kann auch Zeitung lesen.
Nee, setz dich mal hier hin. Guck vielleicht was wir machen. Ja, vielleicht bringt er noch Sandwiches.
Ja, Sandwiches. Ich habe keine Ahnung, wo wir überhaupt sind. Die Sandwiches standen gar nicht im Drehbuch.
Ah. Also.
There you go.
Mit der Katze, das war ein Witz, oder?
Hast du nicht zugehört?
Thanks, Godfrey. Here you go, sandwiches for everyone.
Bitte.
I need this too. Yeah, everyone.
So, Stuart, what do you think? What are we going to do now?
One thing that I have learned is that you should definitely not spy on your mate while he is masturbating. It is morally opprobrious. Tony, right? He once spied on Charlie while he was masturbating. He used, yeah. Well, he was looking through the serving hatch of their kitchen, and it was weird because the thing that struck him the most was that he kept up a really steady rhythm, like a metronome, you know. Charlie was watching one of these German videos that Yeji had pirated at his mum's house. Yeji was actually quite a big unlicensed porn baron in the Sheffield area. He even had contacts in Rotherham, you know. Oh, thank you.
Nicht so ein Weißbrotfreund. Weißbrot.
Once I went round to visit him, and he was wearing like just a pair of short pink shorts and these like dark shaded goggles. Anyway, so went up to his room. On the way, his mum gave us some of these like weird Polish biscuits, And in his room, all he had was like this beige carpet, yeah, his sunbed, and like these and his pawn shelves, you know. And on the labels on the pawn shelves, right, was written like these the titles of David Attenborough's nature programs. So his mum couldn't tell it were porn. But the weird thing was, right, on those videos there really was nature programs. Because if you watched that, because there was a porn at the beginning, right, and then it would like click over at the end, and then you'd see like a picture of like a ring-tailed lemur, or a deep-sea anglerfish, or like a tapir grazing.
So he did have animal videos, or...
Yeah, you know. But the thing is, he must have really liked nature programs when he was younger, our Yeji. But he just decided one day to take over it all with hardcore German porn.
What's the name of your cat again?
Gottfried. Oh. Anyway, you know those like those fish with lights on. What are they called? You know they have like big eyes and like lights, and they have like teeth that go like that.
Submarines.
No, fish. You know, like they got like lights on and like big eyes because they're really deep to sea. You know, like deep, really like millions of miles deep, and they've got like teeth that go like this.
Big eye fish. Well, have some more samples.
Anyway,
Stuart.
all right, yeah. So I bought this video anyway, right? I took it back to Tony's and Charlie's place, and me and Tony and Charlie would watch the video, and we would try to comprehend the enormous meaning of these acts. And we felt like there must be some meaning, you know, because these acts, they were performed with such languor.
Ooh, would you like a massage? Ooh, what kind of a massage? Ooh, an erotic massage, naturally. And there was something unspoken, a piece that passeth understanding, the eye of the moral tempest.
Yeji's career as a porn actor was very incongruous, because I can't think of anyone with more romantic energy and at a heart. He used to dream of nothing grander than to marry and to have a son and to live with his son by a lake and to teach his son how to swim in the lake. But then he decided to pursue this ideal by pirating pornography. No one checks the copyright of porn, he used to say. Yeji used to hunt out anxious freedoms in the corners of Sheffield nights. No sordid performances in front of bay windows. Broken hearts clumsily healed on contrite mornings over grey tea. And he used to drink these pink powdered protein drinks, right? And eat nothing but tuna fish and fried in olive oil so he'd have arms like turkey legs. Look at that fucking turkey leg. And we used to always wonder about that dream about the lake and the castle and the forest. That dream that seemed so far from its expression. And we were nonplussed by that well-imagined dawn, having sex with snowdrops writhing in his heart. Now that hedgerow is blanched for an hour in transitory blossom of snow, a bloom more sudden than that of summer, neither budding nor fading, not in the scheme of generation. Or where is that summer, that unimaginable zero summer? Hang on, mate. Gottfried? Where's the sheep? No, not that one, the other one. You know I know where that one's been. Alright, I'll get it. That pond, right, where I met Lisa with the sticks, that was the same pond as Charlie tried to hang himself over. What he did is he got one of those strings from a posh shopping bag, like Laura Ashley or something, and he tied it round his neck. He tied it to a tree and then jumped, you know, and then, of course, string broke. He fell in, got his trousers and his trainers all wet. He had to walk home with wet trousers and wet trainers, and Tony was waiting for him at home, and he saw his wet trousers, and he said to him, "What have you been doing?"
And Charlie said, I've been trying to hang myself over a pond. And Tony said, well, why did you try and hang yourself over a pond, you dick? And Charlie says, I don't know. And Tony said, well, just have your dinner. And he'd made him a McDonald's, which he had warmed up by putting it on a plate on the radiator. But Tony must have noticed something in his demeanour, and Charlie heard warm running sunlight as Tony handed him his meal, and he said to him, you know, just leave it. And Charlie was happy enough for a while until the end of the day. The black cloud carried the sun away. Will the sunflower turn to us? Will the clematis stray down, bend to us, tendril and spray, clutch and cling, chill, fingers of you be turned down on us? The kingfisher's wing has answered light to light and is silent. The light is still at the still point of the turning world.
You know how I was talking about Tony pooing in a plastic bag? That was like a bad phase that Tony went through. I think he was worried about being too middle class. He nicked magazines from the paper shop and all, and he sold them at school. And Tony being Tony, he gets angry because he's clever and he wants to engender a nameless damage. He's Charlie's best friend, but if you think of lives like wheels turning, then the wheel of Charlie's life and the wheel of Tony's life are like different speeds. And if those wheels are on the same car, it never gets anywhere. It goes round in circles or something. So one night, Tony sets fire to his paper napkin in McDonald's. And you know those plastic plants that have little brown pebbles instead of soil? Well, those. He threw it into those and then he ran off, and Charlie ran after him. But Charlie being Charlie, he got caught in the glass doors by the McDonald's employees. Tony got out, but he came back when Charlie phoned him, and so they spent the night together in the police station, sharing the experience of having DNA tests. Charlie has trouble sort of getting hold of his life. He has this desperate grin on his face that when you look at it, it makes you sweat. The desperation actually rises in you when you see him smile. He's in a big funk all the time. Sometimes he wants to join a kibbutz, or then he talks about picking tomatoes in the summer in the Ukraine, and then he reads a book about runes and he wants to become a wizard and look for witches. And then he moves in with his mother in tax exile in Jersey, and then he's back in Stockport and he works as a waiter in an Australian theme bar in Meadowhall shopping centre. But you know, it's not such a bad life. He's working on his dreams. So one day he says he wants to be an actor, and he records himself reading something out of Macbeth, and in like honest apprehension he gives it to Tony to listen to, and he put all this like emotion onto every word. Tony used to listen to it at 4 in the morning to entertain his drunken mates, and Charlie heard them laughing from his bedroom, gently suffering infinitely, but it was the salt of his water. Charlie said he lost his virginity to a gypsy woman who he'd met on the bus. He said she'd hypnotised him. In a spontaneous moment he surrendered to some importunity of the blood with a lady who shagged him and then read his palm and looked at him and read his palm again, and Charlie was like, well, what can you see? And she said, I can't tell you. And he said, what do you mean? And she said, don't ask, I can't tell you, don't ask me. And he was like, tell me, just tell me, why can't you say? And she said, I can't, don't ask. And she kept saying, don't ask. And he said, just tell me. And then she told him, and she said she predicted that nothing would ever happen to him. He would go through his life and not be happy and not be sad, and nothing would ever happen to him. Would he like it if I told him? If I told him, would he like it? She saved him from being trampled underfoot, and then she went, scarcely having been, a mother's prostrate body, a trembling skeleton, a poor soul gone to heaven, and on a heath beneath winking stars a fox, red reek of rapine in his fur, with merciless bright eyes I saw it scraping in the earth, listening, scraping up the earth, listening, scraping and scraping. Charlie grew up in Stockport among the uncomfortable beer glasses, and when he found himself alone in an alien group, it was like he found peace if he was happily ignored. All it is an acceptance tacit like that of an animal, and even if you feel like an idiot and it's filthy because of how suddenly close you are without knowing they are there to a group of teenagers spitting on the pavement, which is grey with scattered white marks on it, little galaxies, and maybe you realise you were happier all along that way, rather than fight like a scrawny half-dead dog, half dead of exhaustion, trying to cry but nothing coming out. There's just a snarl in your mouth that seems to be a snarl, but really it's a desperate smile so wide it flares your face. It's a smile like a brace in your face, like a nuclear explosion inside you. So suppose you grow up together and you love each other, and then you realise they're all psychos, like when Charlie got drunk one day on rosé wine with Tony in the meadows, because Tony was a faithful friend. Tony would slip away from the dogs and come to hold Charlie safe. See now, there all the time without you, and ever shall be, world without end. And he pushed Charlie in the back every time he had a piss, and when Charlie passed out from his share, Tony rolled him up in the red carpet they had with them, and he picked him up and he put him on his shoulder. Tony was one of the strongest people in Stockport, and he picked up that little heap of savage despair with his dirty trainers poking out of the end of the carpet, and he went off and decided to throw Charlie in the river. That river is like a strong brown god. He just wanted to throw him in the bloody river.
I said to him, you know, you might have drowned the bugger, you know, a drunk man rolled up in a carpet like that, you know, what do you think you're doing? And Tony just said, oh, I didn't think about that, I thought it'd just be funny, you know. I mean, what is that scrawny wolf with that dull, unimportant claw? And what is the full-bowled thing with that strange suicidal grin? And what is the late November doing with the disturbance of the spring, and creatures of the summer heat, and snowdrops writhing under feet, and hollyhocks that aim too high, red into grey and tumble down, late roses filled with early snow. Thunder rolled by the rolling stars simulates triumphal cars deployed in constellated wars. Scorpion fights against the sun until the sun and moon go down. Hunt the heavens and the plains. Comets weep and Leonids fly. Whirled in a vortex that shall bring the world to that destructive fire which burns before the ice cap rains. I told that story, right, to this woman in the butcher's, and she just laughed.
I know you won't believe me, but there is not a day goes by that I don't say a prayer for you.